Please, this is the 7th outfit. I think you've taken enough pictures and video. Please now.
Actually, it's the 6th, but let me just change into that last outfit. Just one more. Oh, this one. Thank you. Luxury isn't what you have. It is what you make people believe you have. Just one more.
The movie opens with our guy, Chidi, stepping out of an exotic car in an expensive-looking suit. The confidence, the walk, the packaging. You'd swear this guy owns half of Lagos. Just keep watching. Then we're introduced to another character, Amaka. She's inside a photo studio, but not for an ordinary photo shoot. Madame is posing inside a private jet. Well, a fake private jet. She's changing outfits, striking different poses, living her best billionaire lifestyle for Instagram. After changing into yet another outfit, she asks if she can squeeze in one more shoot. The lady running the studio has had enough. She tells her, "Madam, this is your 7th outfit. I think you've taken enough pictures. Other clients are waiting." Omo, 7 outfits? Social media pressure no be small. From there, we cut back to Chidi. He walks into a reunion like he owns the place. Smiling, looking like the boss. Rule number 1. If you act like you belong, most people won't question it. Then the movie takes us a few hours earlier, and this is where the illusion starts to crack. The expensive suit he's wearing, he actually rented it. As soon as he collected it and is checking it out, his phone suddenly beeps. Debit alert. He quickly checks his balance. 224 naira. Rule number 2. Never let them know your actual worth. Now, the funny thing is, despite having almost nothing in his account, our guy still heads straight to the reunion like he's about to buy the school. Confidence really is free. But before then, quick disclaimer. This recap is for educational purposes only. The Party Crashers is from Omoni Oboli TV and produced by Susan Ogutuga. This recap is not meant to replace the full movie, nor should it stop you from watching the full movie. Also, spoilers ahead. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next recap. Now, back to the movie. Remember Amaka? She's still on her celebrity lifestyle, taking pictures at an hotel reception. The receptionist is already frustrated. She tells her, "Madam, this is your 7th outfit." Amaka quickly corrects her. It's actually the 6th. As if that somehow makes things better. She still disappears to change clothes anyway. A few moments later, she's back inside the reception striking another set of Instagram poses. At this point, the receptionist has completely lost her patience. She reminds Amaka that she isn't even a paying customer there and practically begs her to leave. When begging doesn't work, she has to step in and drag Madame Fake Life out of the reception. From there, we head back to the reunion. The host, Alex, stands up to address everyone. He talks about the memories they all shared in school and how it's time to give back to the place that helped shape them. Then he leads by example. He announces a donation of 5 million naira towards the project. People clap. Then our guy Chidi raises his hand. 20 million naira. The whole room changes. Everybody turns to look at him. People start clapping, walking over to congratulate him, shaking his hand like they've just discovered the richest alumnus in the room. The donation catches Alex's attention too. He comes over to introduce himself. Now, this conversation was actually interesting because Chidi doesn't wait for Alex to start asking questions. He smiles and says, "I did a bit of homework on everyone that attended. I like to know who is who before I walk into a room." Alex raises an eyebrow. "Interesting. And what did you find out?" Chidi starts reeling things off effortlessly. At this point, Alex is impressed. He even says, "That's unusually specific." Without missing a beat, Chidi tells him he's into logistics and casually claims his company has indirectly handled some of Great Technology's equipment coming into the country. Alex tells him they'd need to have a proper conversation because he's looking for a trusted local associate who understands the terrain. Then he says he'll send Chidi a private invitation to an exclusive gala where he'll get to meet some of his associates. Just like that, one outrageous lie has landed our guy an invitation into a room he was never supposed to enter. Just as Alex walks away, Chidi's phone rings. He takes one look at the screen and immediately goes, shit. Omo, whatever confidence he was using 5 seconds ago has disappeared. We then see him driving while frantically trying to calm the person on the other end. "I swear I'm coming now, I'm literally on the road." The person he's talking to is Bello, and Bello is clearly not buying it. You always say that. Before Chidi can even explain himself properly, the car suddenly comes to a stop. He pulls over, pops the bonnet, and quickly calls Bello back. "Bello, I don't know what's going on. I was literally on my way to you now. The car just stopped on the road." That's when Bello drops the bombshell. "Don't worry, my people are already on the way." Chidi is confused. Then Bello calmly explains, we have a tracker on the car, so we stopped it. Omo, so Bello didn't come to repair the car, he was the one who disabled it. Chidi starts begging immediately, but why would they do like this? Now business now. Bello reminds him they've been patient with him for a long time. They've given him discounts, they've given him grace, but there's a new policy now. The kind of policy will not match your lifestyle. Then he hangs up. Now Chidi has a dead car in the middle of the road at night. As expected, the area mechanics and Iberos appear almost immediately. They start offering to help. Chidi keeps waving them off. I don't call Pesinyo, I don't call. But before he knows what's happening, one of them grabs his phone and takes off. Just like that, our fake big boy is stranded. No car, no phone, and now he's left trekking alone on a lonely road in the middle of the night. From there, the movie switches over to Amaka and her friends who are out having brunch. 3 girls, beautiful restaurant, beautiful food. But before anybody can touch a single plate, Amaka stops everybody. Wait, I've not made a video. You want to spoil this thing? Priorities. She quickly pulls out her phone and starts recording the food. Brunch with my girls. Nothing too serious. One of her friends just looks at her and laughs. Nothing too serious. You made us change outfits twice for this content. Amaka doesn't even deny it. She says, content is a full-time job. The way you people take your 9 to 5 seriously. That's how I take this. Then she finally gives them permission. You can eat now. One of the girls jokingly says, camera is eating before we do. And Amaka replies with a line that perfectly sums up her lifestyle. The gram should eat first. Only after feeding Instagram does everybody else get to eat. Eventually, they're done and the bill arrives. The friend who organized the brunch immediately says, please allow me. I initiated this brunch, so let me cover it. Another friend quickly cuts in, oh no, don't worry, I got it. Then Amaka joins the competition. No, let me just pay for it. One of them looks at Amaka and thinks, with which money? To settle the matter, one of the girls collects all 3 bank cards and hands them to the waiter. Just pick one. Out of all 3 cards, the waiter picks Amaka's. Omo, what are the odds? The POS comes out. Savings or current? Savings. She enters her PIN. Everyone waits. Transaction declined. The waiter quietly says, it's declined. Without wasting a second, Amaka grabs the card. Oh, I came out with the wrong card. One of her friends immediately gives her another option. You can just make a transfer. Another problem. I haven't activated my banking app on this phone yet. Her friend looks confused, but you only have one phone. Amaka quickly explains that she lost her old phone and only recently got a new one, so she hasn't gone to the bank to activate the app. Eventually, one of the other girls pays for the meal, but not before teasing her. Next time, Amaka will host us properly with actual money. Ouch. As they're leaving, Amaka spots one of her friend's car keys lying on the table. She quickly picks them up. I want to drive. Her friend snatches the keys back immediately. You want to drive or you want to make content? Caught red-handed. Then she finishes her with one final jab. You should tell your followers to crowdfund a small car for you. Ha, now we're for Madam Luxury Lifestyle. Oh. Meanwhile, Amaka is at home doing her skincare routine with a face mask on, staring at herself in the mirror and repeating, luxury is discipline. Again, luxury is discipline. If you keep saying it enough times, maybe your account standards will eventually agree. Then her phone rings. She picks up with her normal voice. The caller introduces herself from Sucre Events and says they're putting together an exclusive guest list for a luxury gala based on Amaka's social media presence. She's been recommended. Immediately, Amaka switches into billionaire mode voice. She goes, of course, yes, I know the event. Then instead of accepting the invitation like a normal person, she starts interviewing the poor woman. First she asks, what's the security like? The lady says it's fully secured. Amaka responds with, my presence tends to attract a lot of attention, so that's why I'm asking. Attention, care? Then she asks who will be attending. The organizer politely says that information is confidential. Amaka nods like that's exactly what she expected. Right, that's natural. She still isn't done. She asks about media coverage, press, cameras, everything. The organizer explains it's a private event. Then Amaka asks one of the funniest questions in the movie. What's the demographic of the guests? Old money or new money? The lady, clearly trying to stay professional, simply says it will be a mix. Amaka wraps everything up by saying exclusivity is my watchword. The organizer asks if she'll be available on the 10th of August. Instead of just saying yes, she replies, I'll have my PA check my calendar and get back to you. I'm sure you understand I'm very busy. PA, madam, you are the PA. The call ends. For about 3 seconds, she tries to maintain the rich girl composure. Then she completely loses it. She starts screaming around the room. I knew one day it would pay off. She's jumping, celebrating, and thanking God. Then reality kicks in. She suddenly stops and asks herself, what am I even going to wear? After thinking for a moment, she picks up her phone again. Then she pauses. Should she call them back immediately or wait a little so it actually looks like her schedule is packed? Eventually, she settles on the perfect fake rich strategy. If I wait for some time, I'll just tell them my calendar is very tight, but I can squeeze them in. Fake life no be for the impatient too. Back at Chidi's apartment, someone starts banging on his door. Not knocking, banging. Chidi shouts from inside, who be that? The knocking only gets louder. Now he's irritated. He storms to the door, still insulting the mysterious visitor. Who be this foolish person? The moment he opens it, his whole energy changes. It's Benga, the owner of the suit he borrowed. Immediately, Chidi softens. Benga asks the obvious question, where is my suit? Chidi starts apologizing before he even brings it out. He says he only just recovered because fever dealt with him for 2 straight days. That the grace of God make her stand here. Then he finally hands over the suit. Benga looks at it, then looks back at Chidi. You wash him? Wrong question, because Chidi already has an explanation prepared. He says some Agberos attacked him around Aja and roughed him up, so the suit got dirty. He had no choice but to wash it. Then Benga asked the next dangerous question. Waiting you use wash am? Chidi proudly replies, na bar soap I use. I know say detergent's too harsh for suit like this. Instead of making things better, it makes everything worse. Benga almost loses his mind. This is imported fabric, and this man used bar soap. Chidi quickly changes the topic. He tells Benga not to worry, because things are about to change. Apparently, he's been chasing one massive contract for months, and the final meeting is just a few days away. Once that deal goes through, life will become soft. He tells Benga, once this deal land, I go buy like 200 suits. You self will give your client free suits with every deal. The confidence, the optimism, the account balance of 224 naira. Nothing is matching. Then just when Benga thinks he's heard the last surprise, Chidi clears his throat. Actually, I need another sharp suit. Not just any suit, the sharpest one. Because according to him, this next meeting is the biggest deal of his life. Benga just stares at him. This man has just returned a washed, borrowed suit, and he's already asking to borrow another one. Honestly, the audacity needs its own award. A little while later, it's time for the gala. Not just any gala. One of those exclusive masked events where everybody looks rich enough to buy the building they're standing in. Chidi walks in, taking everything in before saying, the 1% of the 1%. This is where myths are built. For me, it's the same game, just with higher stakes. Then he adjusts himself and says, showtime. Almost immediately, Alex spots him. He walks over with a couple of business associates. This is Chidi, the one I told you about. One of the men asks, so how do you approach cross-border delays? Without even blinking, Chidi replies, you don't fight the system. You understand where it bends and move through that. Another man follows up. And compliance? Chidi smiles. Depends on who's asking. Or more, confidence no they buy for supermarkets. The businessman asks how long he's been in the industry. Chidi simply says, long enough to know that time is more valuable than money. Alex just smiles. That's it, I told you. You can literally see these guys buying everything he's selling. After a few more minutes, Chidi excuses himself, saying he needs the restroom. Only, our guy isn't going there to ease himself. The moment he's alone, he quickly pulls out his phone and calls Fred. He reminds Fred that they met at a wedding and had talked about international logistics. Then, he gets straight to the point. He admits his company is still sorting out paperwork and licensing, so he can't execute a project himself just yet. But he doesn't want to lose the opportunity. So, he proposes a partnership. If he lands the contract, Fred's company handles the shipment. They split the profits. Fred likes the idea and suggests they continue the conversation over lunch. Just like that, Chidi has managed to keep another dream alive. Back inside, an auction is already underway. As he returns to the hall, he strikes up a conversation with a lady standing nearby. Looking at her dress, he says, I think your dress shifted the market. Without missing a beat, she fires back. Your watch just tried to compete. He asks, did it? Rose gold? She smiles. You're observant. He replies, you're selective. I won't lie, the flirting was smooth. Just then, the auctioneer introduces the next item, the Rose Empress necklace, an 18-karat white gold necklace with pink sapphires and diamonds. The lady beside Chidi immediately recognizes it. She says, a buzz piece, the Rose Empress, one of the medals by the Miss. I only ever see it when my funds are tied up. Crude oil investments will humble you. Meanwhile, the bidding has already crossed 40 million naira. 43, 45, 47. Chidi quietly asks, how much would it take? She smiles and says, too much. Our motivational speaker immediately responds, well, I'm currently on a multi-million-dollar project. I could try if it means a date with you. The lady laughs. You do that? Let's see how far it goes. Then, before anybody can process what is happening, Chidi raises his bidding paddle. 55 million naira. It was silence. The auctioneer starts counting. Going once, going twice. At this point, you can literally see Chidi's soul leaving his body. He's sweating, panicking, praying that somebody, anybody, should please outbid him. Because where exactly does he want to see 55 million naira? Thankfully, right before the hammer falls, another bidder raises it. 57 million. Sold. I've never seen somebody look so relieved after losing an auction. The blood that left his body finally returned. Turning back to the lady, he smiles and says, I'm sorry. She laughs. You tried. Chidi quickly recovers. Let me make it up to you. He asked for her number. As she gives it to him, she leaves him with one warning. Don't disappoint me. Chidi smiles confidently. I don't plan to. For now, the fake billionaire is still surviving. A few days later, Chidi and the mystery lady from the gala finally go on their date. And yes, her name is Amaka. The two of them are at a very fancy restaurant, the kind of place where you already know the bill will humble somebody before the night is over. Chidi settles in and says, I hope you like it here. I really enjoy the view. Then he smiles at her. But I'm pretty sure I enjoy your company more this evening. Guy came prepared. Amaka smiles awkwardly. Chidi notices immediately. What? She says nothing. He teases her. Are you shy? She denies it. Oh, you're blushing. Or are you just uncomfortable? Did I make you uncomfortable? She tells him no. He looks at her again. Are you good? She nods. Yeah. You sure? When she says yes, he suggests they order drinks. Then this man calls the waiter and asks the most dangerous question of the night. How much is your most expensive drink? The waiter replies, our high-end variety start from 200,000 naira. Without even blinking, Chidi says, "Give me your most expensive bottle." The waiter walks away. Immediately, we hear their inner thoughts. Amaka is looking at him thinking he didn't even check the price. At the exact same time, Chidi is looking at her thinking she didn't even flinch. I just started laughing because both of them are busy trying to impress each other while secretly investigating each other. As they continue talking, Amaka asks, "So what is it that you actually do?" Chidi answers with maximum mystery, "I move things." Then he asks what she does. Amaka says, "I'm into lifestyle and I consult." Chidi poses, "I'm pretty sure you said you were into crude oil, or am I tripping?" Without missing a beat, Amaka smiles and says, "Family business." Chidi nods, but in his mind he's already thinking, it's giving old money. At the exact same moment, Amaka is staring at him thinking, I think he's shady. And that's when it really hits me. These two aren't falling in love with each other, they're falling in love with the versions they've both invented. Next, we see Amaka hanging out with her two rich friends, Zara and Tenny. Immediately, they want the full gist about this new man. Tenny asks, "Is that why we're here? Tell us about this guy." Amaka just smiles. "I told you people, he's different." "Different how?" He listens. Her friends quickly laugh. "My dear, everybody listens at the beginning." Amaka shakes her head. "No, he actually hears me." One friend jokes, "Of course he hears you, he's not deaf." They all burst into laughter. Then they ask the important question, "So what exactly does he do?" Amaka replies, "He's into logistics." "What kind of logistics?" She pauses. "The kind that works." Her friends immediately catch on, meaning you don't actually know. Then they ask whether she's finally told him the truth about her life, not the Instagram version, the real Amaka. She refuses. She says if she wasn't packaging herself like this, a man like Chidi would never have looked her way. And besides, according to her, he's already bought the lie. Her friends warn her that lies always come out eventually, but Amaka isn't trying to hear any of that. Instead, she borrows yet another lie. She tells them Chidi is coming to pick her up from her house. Their house, actually. After plenty of playful back and forth, his car finally pulls up. Chidi steps out, compliments her immediately, and tells her she looks even better than he remembered. Amaka introduces him to Zara and Tenny. She even introduces Zara by mentioning that her father owns plenty of properties in Victoria Island, while Tenny's father is into politics. Then she casually drops another lie. She tells Chidi they're spending the weekend at her house. Her friends just stand there looking at her like, "Our house, key?" But they play along. The two of them drive off. On the way, Chidi smiles and says, "I'm taking you somewhere. Nothing fancy, but it's very special to me." Now, if you are Amaka, after seeing this man's watch, his suits, and the expensive restaurants, your mind is probably expecting one luxury rooftop lounge overlooking Lagos. Instead, my brother parks in front of a roadside shawarma and grill spot. You can literally see the disappointment flash across Amaka's face. She tries to hide it, but no hide. Then Chidi starts talking. And honestly, this is where we finally get to understand him beyond all the packaging. He tells her, "My parents used to bring me and my brothers here when we were younger. Back then, they were completely broke, but somehow their parents always made them feel like kings. Both of them worked multiple jobs just to keep food on the table." Then he admits something that really stayed with me. He says he hated growing up that way, so much that he promised himself that when he eventually had children, they would never experience that kind of life. Then comes another painful revelation. His parents have both been gone 20 years, and this little shawarma spot is one of the few places that still makes him feel close to them. Whenever life becomes overwhelming, whenever everything feels like too much, he comes there just to clear his head. That completely changes the atmosphere. Suddenly, this isn't just a random food spot anymore. It's a place filled with memories. Amaka softens immediately. She tells him, "You should come to my house someday. I'll cook for you." Chidi looks at her with a smile. "You cook?" She acts offended. "What's that supposed to mean?" He laughs. "I'm just messing with you." Turns out, he had already ordered the food before they even arrived. They take it back to the car, eat together, joke around, and Chidi even tries heeding her. For the first time, neither of them is trying so hard to impress the other, and you can actually see Amaka starting to like the real version of Chidi, even though neither of them has shown who they really are yet.
The next time we see Amaka, she's in the kitchen cooking, and Zara is already suspicious. She looks at everything Amaka is doing and asks, "This Chidi guy must really be special, or are you just doing all this to secure the bag?" Amaka laughs. Well, securing the bag is important, but after a brief pause, she gets serious. She admits that it's no longer just about the money. She says, "Besides the money and the lifestyle, I think I might actually be falling for this guy." Zara asks if she's serious. Amaka nods. She explains that when it's just the two of them, Chidi is different. He's real. She remembers how he took her to that simple local spot instead of some expensive restaurant. How he opened up about his parents struggling to survive, yet still making their children feel like kings. She says, that felt honest. Then she smiles. "I think he's the kind of guy I want. He's everything I want in a guy." But Zara asks the one question Amaka has been avoiding. Have you told him the truth? Amaka sighs. It's not that simple. Zara disagrees. She wants her that she's building something on lies, and if the foundation isn't strong, everything will eventually start falling apart, brick by brick. Amaka finally says she'll tell him. Zara quickly asks, "When?" Silence. Exactly. Just then, the doorbell rings. Chidi's here. Amaka practically chases Zara upstairs before rushing to answer the door. When she opens it, Chidi is standing there holding a bottle of wine. He compliments the house. She thanks him, takes the wine, and quickly disappears for a moment. As Chidi looks around the house, he starts talking to himself. This babe really did live life. Then he tells himself, "Guy, you have to step up your game if you want to keep this girl." If only both of them knew. They were dating fellow pretenders. A few moments later, Amaka returned and leads him to the dining table. After dinner, she asks him nervously, "Be honest, how's the food?" He pauses just long enough for her to panic. Then he says, "It's alright." The look on her face changes immediately. Then he bursts into laughter. "I'm messing with you. This is actually really good." Amaka warns him not to scare her like that again. Chidi keeps praising the food and joking that she's been hiding this talent from him. Amaka laughs and says, "I don't like to show all my talents at once." Later, the two of them are sitting on the floor talking. Then Chidi suddenly becomes serious. He looks at her and says, "Amaka, I think I've..." He pauses, then corrects himself. "I've fallen in love with you." Amaka laughs. Is it because of the food? But when she realizes he's not joking, her smile softens. She quietly admits, "I think I've fallen for you too." And the two of them kiss. Unfortunately, the moment doesn't last long. Amaka's phone rings. It's Zara. Her boyfriend is on his way to the house, so Amaka needs to clear Chidi out immediately. She comes back pretending she suddenly has an urgent work commitment. Chidi doesn't argue. He thanks her for the meal, tells her he had a really nice time, promises to call her when he gets home, and leaves. Watching these two, you almost forget they're both living completely different lives from the ones they've been selling to each other. 3 months pass. 3 months of dates, conversations, and both of them falling deeper in love while still hiding who they really are. Then one day, Chidi takes Amaka somewhere quiet. They're standing together, just talking. He tells her, "I know this isn't loud or extravagant. I just wanted something that feels like us." Then he opens up again. He says that after losing his parents, he eventually realized nobody was coming to save him, so he had no choice but to become the man he needed just to survive. Ever since then, life has simply been survival mode. Always chasing, always hustling, always trying to stay afloat. But for the first time in a very long time, he says he doesn't feel that way anymore, and it's because of Amaka. He tells her, "I find you challenging and calming at the same time. Sometimes you confuse me, but somehow you still make sense." Then he reminds her, it's been 3 months since we met. 3 months of getting to know each other. 3 months that completely changed his life. He looks her straight in the eyes and says, "I've come to realize that I don't want to do life without you." Then he slowly goes down on one knee, pulls out a ring, looks up at her and asks, "Amaka, will you marry me?" Without even thinking twice, she says yes. The two of them hug tightly, and then they tell each other, "I love you." And just like that, two people who had completely fallen in love also agreed to spend forever together. The only problem? Their entire relationship was built on lies. After the proposal, the two lovebirds are on a phone call. Chidi can't wait for Amaka to tell her parents the good news, but she keeps dragging her feet. He teases her, "You are stalling." Amaka laughs and says she's just preparing. According to her, her parents don't like surprises. The moment she tells them she's getting married, they'll start asking questions. Where is he from? Where did you meet? Who are his parents? You know, parent questions. Chidi sounds completely confident. He tells her not to worry, we'll answer every single one of their questions. Then he asks when she's traveling. Amaka replies, "I'm booking my flight now." He smiles. Good girl. Now, when she said flight, I was expecting to see business class. Next thing, we see Madame inside a regular interstate bus. Now that won't be the flight. The movie knew exactly what it was doing there. Meanwhile, back at Chidi's apartment, reality comes knocking. This man is sitting down with one giant calculator trying to calculate the cost of the wedding and his current debts, and the numbers are absolutely destroying him. He keeps punching figures into the calculator, stops, starts again, punches more figures, then suddenly blurts out, "Jesus!" At one point, he literally has to convince himself that what he's seeing is not real. These numbers are not real. They're just numbers. I'm not owing anybody. I'm not a debtor. Then he starts encouraging himself. Once he marries Amaka, her father will definitely give him money. Everything will be fine. Everywhere goes stew. Everywhere soft. This man was literally manifesting his way out of debt. Then a voice note drops on his phone. "Chidi, I hope you're not forgetting yourself. Don't make me come looking for you." He quietly replies to himself, "I'm working on it." As if that wasn't enough, his phone rings again. Another person he owes money. The man doesn't even greet him. He goes straight to the point. "Where is my money?" Chidi starts pleading. He says he's about to close one very big deal. The man reminds him that he's been saying the exact same thing for months. Chidi keeps begging for more time, but the caller has had enough. He hangs up, leaving Chidi staring into space. At this point, it was becoming painfully obvious. Both Chidi and Amaka were trying to build a future on foundations that could collapse at any moment.
Back at Amaka's house, her parents are preparing for Chidi's visit. They're practicing how to greet him, but it's not going well. Amaka keeps correcting her dad, insisting he should simply say, "How do you do?" But he keeps getting it wrong, and before long, the whole rehearsal turns into a funny back and forth. Meanwhile, Chidi is meeting up with a friend. He confidently says that once everything falls into place, they'll both be fine. Then he finally reveals why he came. He needs to borrow 2 million naira. His friend almost laughs at the amount. Chidi insists it's only temporary because he's meeting Amaka's parents tomorrow and needs to look sharp. Then he proudly explains his master plan. Once he marries Amaka, they'll go on their honeymoon, he'll pretend his house caught fire, move into her family's mansion, and by the time his big deal comes through, everything will sort itself out. His friend can't believe what he's hearing. When Chidi asks him to send the money, the friend admits he doesn't have it. Chidi even lowers the amount, begging for anything he can get, but the answer is still no. With no money and no backup plan, Chidi is left frustrated, still nowhere close to solving his financial problems. Chidi finally meets Amaka's parents, but the formal introduction is anything but smooth. Her mom proudly greets him with a painfully slow, "How do you do?" Chidi politely responds that he's doing very well and thanks her for asking. Then her dad joins in with his own version, slowly asking, "What do you do?" Chidi explains that he runs a shipping company, but instead of continuing the conversation, both parents burst into laughter, clearly proud that they managed to get their English out, even if the conversation isn't going anywhere. Chidi simply smiles through the awkward encounter and compliments them on their lovely family.
With the introductions out of the way, the focus shifts to wedding planning. The event planners begin presenting different options, explaining that they aren't just planning a wedding, they are creating a moment Lagos will never forget. They start showing different wine options. The event planners move on to the food, offering continental, intercontinental, and oriental menus. They are both in the car now. Amaka is busy showing Chidi a designer bag she has her eyes on. Then, out of nowhere, Chidi changes the subject. He tells her he doesn't think they should have a big wedding. Amaka is caught off guard. Chidi quickly explains that he doesn't mean they should have a tiny wedding either. He just doesn't see the point of inviting everybody. According to him, the wedding should be for the people who actually matter. Close family, close friends, a few colleagues, not random people they barely know. He says a smaller, more intimate wedding would even feel classier, more exclusive. That word immediately catches Amaka's attention. Exclusive? Chidi smiles. Exactly. That seems to do the trick. Amaka finally agrees, even though she's still clearly thinking about it. Later, she's at Zara's place talking it over. She tells Zara that Chidi wants an intimate wedding, and honestly, she doesn't know how to feel about it. Zara, on the other hand, thinks it's great news. After all, it means Amaka no longer has to borrow 10 million naira from her for the wedding. But Amaka still isn't convinced. She reminds Zara that she's a luxury influencer. Her wedding is supposed to be the talk of town. How can she suddenly have a small wedding without people thinking something is wrong? That's when Zara gives her a little reality check. She tells her something her mom always used to say. Cut your coat according to your size. Not because you don't deserve nice things, but because peace is expensive. She warns her that debt can turn a fairy tale into a horror movie before you even realize what is happening. Instead of chasing people's validation, she should focus on building a good marriage, not just an expensive wedding that everyone will forget after 2 weeks. Then Zara smiles and tells her, as your good friend, I'll support your wedding with 1 million naira. Amaka immediately jumps up in excitement. She starts praising Zara from head to toe, calling her Zara baby and showering her with compliments. Zara can't help but laugh, telling her to calm down because she's embarrassing herself, even though it's just the two of them in the house. The big day finally arrives. Chidi and Amaka head to the registry, where they officially become husband and wife. Just like that, after everything they've been through, they are married. Next, we see them at the wedding reception. The newlyweds share a slow dance while family and friends gather around, snapping pictures and soaking in the moment. As they dance, Amaka looks at Chidi and smiles. You actually did this. Chidi laughs. Why did you say it like that? She tells him it almost feels too good to be true, like it could disappear at any moment. Chidi gently reassures her, it won't. Then she thanks him. Chidi asks, for what? She looks him in the eyes and says, for choosing me. That one hits him right in the heart. The two of them promise to love each other forever. The wedding is over, now it's time for the honeymoon. Amaka is beyond excited. As they walk towards the car, she pulls out her phone to make a video for her followers. With the biggest smile on her face, she introduces Chidi. Hey guys, this is my husband. She happily announces that they're officially married and on their way to their honeymoon. She even tries to get Chidi to reveal where they're going, but he refuses. It's a surprise. Amaka playfully complains about how secretive he is. Then, just as they were about to get into the car, everything changes. A police officer suddenly walks up and points at Chidi. That's the criminal. Before either of them can process what is happening, the officer grabs him. You're arrested for fraud. Chidi immediately tells the officer to calm down, insisting he knows the man behind the accusation. And that's when Bello steps forward. He reminds Chidi that he's been owing him money for months. Chidi keeps trying to explain himself, but nobody's listening. Amaka is completely confused. She keeps asking what is going on, but the officers ignore her as they drag her brand new husband away. Just minutes after saying I do, her honeymoon had turned into a nightmare.
The honeymoon lasts exactly 5 minutes. Instead of sipping champagne at some luxury resort, reality comes crashing in. Chidi and Amaka are at his place, and the atmosphere is ice cold. Chidi sits quietly on the bed, while Amaka stands in front of him, completely devastated. She looks at him and asks the one question that says everything. Who even are you? She wants to know if anything he ever told her was real. The business, the flashy cars, the money, was any of it true? Chidi admits that some of it was. Not exactly the answer she wanted. Then she asked the question that really matters. What about the love? Was that fake too? This time, he doesn't hesitate. No. He tells her the truth. The first day they met, he saw her as his way out, his big break, everything he had always pretended to be. But somewhere along the line, he genuinely fell in love with her. Since then, he'd actually been trying to turn his life around. He'd started working on registering his shipping company, trying to make everything real. But nothing had worked out, and he was too scared to tell her the truth because he thought she'd leave. Amaka quietly admits that maybe she would have. Then Chidi says they can still fix everything. All they need is a little financial help from her parents to get the business running. The moment he says that, Amaka suddenly stands up and starts laughing. Not because it's funny, because the irony is unbelievable. Then she drops her own bombshell. You should have told me, because I was your way out too. Chidi freezes. Wait, your way out of what? Poverty. Turns out everything about Amaka's rich girl lifestyle was fake too. Her parents are poor. She'd been sending money home just so they could eat. After moving to Lagos, she realized nobody paid attention to struggling influencers. So she created a fake luxury lifestyle online, hoping one day it would become real. Then she met Chidi, and for the first time, she thought she could finally stop pretending, only to discover she had married someone doing exactly the same thing. She even calls him a scam artist. Chidi quickly defends himself. I lied, but who exactly did I scam? Then he reminds her of something she's conveniently forgetting. She lied too.
According to him, he wasn't trying to justify what he did. He was simply tired of people looking down on him. So he created a version of himself the world would finally respect. And after pretending for so long, he actually started believing he could become that man. But meeting Amaka changed everything. For the first time, it wasn't just an act anymore. The love was real. He looks her in the eyes and says, "I'm not a scam artist. I'm just a guy trying to become somebody who got lost in the performance." Amaka breaks down. She admits she still loves him, but doesn't know what to believe anymore. Chidi gently tells her, "Believe us." He insists that whatever else was fake, their love wasn't. After a long silence, Amaka asks the only question that matters now. "So, where do we go from here?" Chidi reaches for her. We start again. This time without pretending. No more lies. 100% honesty. Amaka agrees. The two kiss, not because all their problems have disappeared, but because for the first time, they're finally in love with the real versions of each other. The morning after promising each other a fresh start, Chidi wakes up alone. He reaches across the bed. Nothing. Confused, he starts calling out, "Babe!" No answer. He searches the house until he notices a notebook. Amaka left him a letter. As he opens it, her words hit immediately. "Chidi, I don't even know where to begin." She tells him she fell for him far more than she ever intended to. But somewhere between all the lies, she lost herself. She no longer knows what's real. Not him, not herself, not even their relationship. She says before she can be anything to him, she has to figure out who she really is, without pretending, without the pressure, without him. Then she tells Chidi something he probably never expected. He needs to figure his own life out too. And maybe if they ever meet again, it'll be as two people who don't have to lie just to be loved. Before signing off, she leaves him one final gift. The money they received from the wedding is still in the house. She tells him to use it to settle some of his debts. Signed, Amaka. By the time Chidi finishes reading, he's in tears. Then, his voice takes over the narration. "This is the price we paid for our fake lives." Meanwhile, Amaka heads straight to Zara's place. The moment she sees her friend, she breaks down completely. Later, Zara sits beside her on the bed, trying to comfort her. Amaka can't stop blaming herself. She says everything was built on lies. According to her, Chidi was pretending the whole time, trying to impress her, even scam her, and somehow she believed every word. Worse still, she genuinely fell in love with him. Zara quietly asks the obvious question, "Do you still love him?" Amaka doesn't even think about it. Yes, and that's the sad thing. She admits she doesn't even know what to believe anymore. But Zara gives her a different perspective. She tells her not to hold on to the past. If the love is still real, then maybe the relationship can be rebuilt. Only this time, it has to be built on one thing they never had before, the truth. And with that, Amaka leans into her friend again, still heartbroken, but perhaps not completely without hope. Unable to stay away, Chidi decides to fight for his marriage. He shows up at Zara's house, knocks on the door, and waits. Zara opens it. The moment she sees who's standing there, her expression changes. Chidi immediately pleads with her. He knows Amaka is inside. All he's asking for is 5 minutes. Zara isn't having it. "No, you can't." Chidi insists he didn't come to argue. He just wants the chance to explain himself. But Zara reminds him of the damage he's already done. She tells her Amaka is inside trying to figure out what in her life was ever real, and now he wants 5 more minutes? Chidi quietly says he loves her. He just wants to explain everything. Zara's response is blunt. "If you really love her, then leave." Chidi begs one last time, but Zara has heard enough. She tells him to get out, then shuts the door in his face. Back inside, she walks away from the entrance only to find Amaka sitting silently on the staircase. Without saying a word, Zara sits beside her, gently rests Amaka's head on her shoulder, and just stays there with her. Sometimes, the best comfort isn't having the right words. It's simply having someone willing to sit beside you while your world falls apart. Just when you think that's the end of Chidi and Amaka's story, the movie gives us one final scene. We see an exotic car pull up. This time, it's Chidi behind the wheel. No more struggling, no more borrowed appearances. He's dressed sharply in a tailored suit, looking every bit like the man he always dreamed of becoming. He steps out, walks around the car, and opens the passenger door. Out comes Amaka, elegant, confident, and smiling. She's wearing a beautiful dress, looking happier than we've seen her in a long time. Chidi stretches out his hand and asks, "Are you ready, Mrs. Elumelu?" Amaka smiles back without hesitation. "Let's do this, Mr. Elumelu." And just like that, the screen fades to black. One final message appears. The story has just begun. And that's how the movie ends. Or does it? Because after seeing that final scene, I'm almost certain we're getting a part 2. I mean, you can't flash the story has just begun and expect us to move on like nothing happened. Overall, I actually enjoyed this movie. It was funny, it had a good message, and Michael Dappa absolutely carried the role of Chidi. The man had me laughing 1 minute, then feeling sorry for him the next. My funniest scene has to be when he was calculating the wedding expenses. This is not real, it's just numbers. Or that 55 million naira jewelry scene. Baba nearly left this world because nobody was bidding. And don't even get me started on Amaka's flight. I was expecting business class. Next thing, Madam entered interstate bus. I almost fell off my chair. But beneath all the comedy, the movie leaves us with a solid lesson. Fake it till you make it sounds motivational until you're drowning in debt, lies, and pressure. Like Zara said, cut your coat according to your size. Not because you don't deserve nice things, but because peace is expensive. Social media will always make it look like everyone else is winning. Don't destroy your real life trying to keep up with someone's highlight reel. I'll give this one a solid 8.5 out of 10. The story wasn't perfect. There were moments that made me ask, how did these two get engaged without even seeing where each other lived? But overall, it was entertaining, the chemistry was great, the comedy landed, and the message hit home. Now, over to you. What's the funniest scene in the entire movie? Was it the 55 million auction, the parents saying, "How do you do?" the fake flight, or when both of them realized they had been lying to each other the whole time? Drop your favorite scene in the comments. And if you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.